That commission was established because of the efforts of the EFF, which ended up in court demanding that this commission must be established so that we can continue to hold the corrupt accountable. We are the ones who stood up to the president in parliament, to the ministers in parliament. We still do the same today. There is the most useless minister called Pravin Gordhan, who is untouchable, and we're doing everything in our power to try and hold him accountable. They use their majority to undermine accountability. So it must not be that generally everyone has failed in that parliament. That's why we were shocked. We're not called as the EFF into the state capture inquiry, because the party that has held this executive accountable, the president accountable, the party that has pushed parliament to do the right thing is the EFF.
Exposing corruption is one thing, delivering justice is another. South Africans are still waiting. Is accountability just a pipe dream? They shouted for Zuma's removal and demanded justice. But when the time came, they brought no evidence. Did South Africa fail to prove state capture? Or was this all part of a bigger plan? Welcome back to Inkari. It's time. I'm Kondos, and today we are continuing the conversation about the Zondo Commission's fallout. In our last video, we asked whether justice will be served. Now, we are taking a deeper look at the challenges in prosecuting those implicated. Challenges that may not just be about politics, but about a lack of evidence. And let us not forget the role of figures like Julius Malema, who led the charge against Jacob Zuma, but failed to provide the very proof that was needed. Let's unpack this. The evidence gap. One of the biggest criticisms of the Zondo Commission's aftermath is the lack of prosecutions. But why? Julius Malema, for example, was vocal about Zuma's alleged role in the state capture, yet failed to present concrete evidence to the commission. Malema is not alone. Many critics shouted accusations, but brought no proof. Could it be that the evidence doesn't exist? Or was there reluctance to fully cooperate with the process?
At this point, yet he still remains trusted in the society, because the master behind him has made sure that no one follows up on him and presses him to provide what he said it facts in his position. Just watch this video to see if what I'm saying, you won't see those characteristics to this person that I'm worried about. Many black people love unsuspectingly, but he shows all the qualities of the sellout who's very sophisticated.
It is inconsistent. This is what happened. Treasury provided Tuluma Donsel with a very serious evidence against Zuma and the Guptas. Zuma is involved in racketeering and money laundering. That evidence has been given to Tuli. Evidence of transactions of billions being shifted out of the country with the assistance of the president by the Guptas. Now Tuli met the Guptas and presented that evidence before them. And then they went to their men and said, hey man, we are in trouble. If that thing that we saw in our meeting with Tuli is anything to go by, you can be guaranteed we are going to prison. And then after that, then Zuma was mad. Then Zuma said, okay, I'm going to respond to you through an affidavit. Then they gave Zuma evidence and the question. Then Zuma confirmed what the Guptas told him, that we are in serious trouble. And he said, yes. Can you bring these people who gave you this evidence? I want to interview them one by one. By the way, I'm one of them who went to give evidence to public protector. And I can.
Where are the facts, evidence that you said you have, Malema?
These witnesses, and that you are disinclined to agree with the counterversion, because Chair, I think there is a counterversion in society. There is a counter narrative that makes the entire body politic, and this process, which is to help policy making, must not be determined by the dominant views of what in South Africa is a dominant class and its media and their views. Is that if you want to get out of this morass of policy uncertainty, which is what your task is our ability to thoroughly interrogate different narratives that are out in society and how they lead to fraud, that you are to investigate, corruption, and this thing called state capture. I keep referring to it as a separate issue, Chair, because as a matter of political science, all states are captured. All states. The reason there's a contest between classes in society, even here, is that they are contesting to capture the state. Some for good reasons, others for bad reasons. So state capture is a notion that is weaponized, comes as a notion that is designed at a time Mr. Zuma must go. But what the chair is tasked to do is to cut the veil, go beyond the different classes that contest the state since its inception, is to look at this state as we speak now is captured. This state, particular one, beyond Mr. Zuma, long gone, and elsewhere in Ukraine. But what the chair must look at is what do these forces do with the state? What is the fraud and what's the corruption? And
Malema's role in Zuma's removal. Julius Malema played a pivotal role in the political drama that led to Zuma's ousting. His fiery speeches and public appearances painted Zuma as the face of corruption. But here's where it gets tricky. Some critics argue that Malema was used as a tool by the political establishment to unseat Zuma. Was this about fighting corruption or advancing the interests of the political elite? The difficulty of prosecution. Without solid evidence, it's nearly impossible for the National Prosecuting Authority to build cases. This has led to delays and growing frustration among South Africans. The lack of evidence isn't just a legal hurdle, it's a blow to public confidence. How do we hold people accountable when the evidence is weak or missing? Who benefits from selective justice? Critics of the Zondo Commission argue that the focus on Zuma and his allies, while ignoring other powerful players, suggests selective justice. Malema's early alliance with those calling for Zuma's removal raises questions. Was his activism genuine, or was he part of a strategy to shift power dynamics within the ANC and beyond? And where does this leave us now? What is next for justice in South Africa? The Commission did its job by exposing systemic corruption, but exposure is only the first step. If those implicated are not prosecuted, or if others escape scrutiny, South Africans will lose faith in our democratic institutions. It's time for civil society, activists, and citizens to push harder for transparency and accountability. South Africa is in a precarious position. The Zondo Commission exposed the depth of corruption, but the lack of evidence and perceived biases have left us questioning the integrity of the process. Was this about justice or simply politics? And what does the role of figures like Julius Malema tell us about the motivations behind it all? What do you think? Is the difficulty in prosecuting those implicated in state capture a failure of evidence, or is something more strategic at play? Let us know in the comments below. If you are as passionate about uncovering the truth and fighting for accountability, hit subscribe and share this video with others. Together we can keep the pressure on, because in Kahari it's time for real justice. Until next time, stay informed and stay empowered. Thank you for watching and take care.